Good morning, YouTube. In July, Motorola, now fully owned by Chinese company Lenovo, unveiled 3 new Android phones for 2015. The entry-level Moto G, the mid-level Moto X Play, and the higher-spec Moto X Style. In this video, I'm going to review this guy, the Moto X Play, and talk about the design, the software, the performance, the camera, and of course its massive battery. Motorola has designed a very nice looking phone. There are no logos or buttons on the front, which is very nice. At first glance, it looks like there are stereo speakers, but there's only a single speaker at the bottom. A really elegant touch is that the glass curves ever so gently on either side of the phone. Bezels are fairly thin. The frame has a metallic finish but is made of plastic. The back is classic Motorola with the camera, dual LED flash, and Moto dimple on a metallic strip in the center with a grippy rubbery backplate that has a nice cross pattern finish. The top has a headphone jack in the center and the combined SIM SD card tray. The bottom has just a mini USB charging jack in the center. The right side has a serrated power button and a single switch below for volume. Nothing on the left side. Motorola have chosen good quality materials and I think the design is awesome. I get the impression a lot of thought and effort went into the look and feel of this phone. A thickness of 10.9 millimeters is a lot more than an S6 or an iPhone, but because the back is curved and the edges are much thinner, the phone does not feel too thick and is very comfortable to hold. In fact, when I'm holding it, I don't even feel like putting it down. At 169 grams, it weighs less than a OnePlus 2 or an iPhone 6 Plus, and both those have the exact same size screen. It is also noticeably shorter than both those phones. It feels great in the hand, is very grippy, and for a 5.5-inch phone, doesn't feel big at all. This just feels like a very normal sized phone to me. While the surround I think will get scratched up over time, I don't expect this back surface will get too worn out looking. It seems very durable. The display is protected with Gorilla Glass 3, so it should also hold up well. That being said, I somehow managed to put this very tiny but long and perfectly straight scratch on my screen. Thankfully, most of the time it's barely noticeable, so maybe get a screen protector. Now, about the power and volume switches. While they look and work fine, they are not solid and tight. In fact, they feel very loose and move a lot. You can hear them shaking around. It's very small and you'll get used to it fast, but it was my biggest gripe with the build quality. In some markets, the Motorola sells a dual SIM version. It also comes with an SD card slot, which is pretty much critical if you get the 16 gig version. The Moto X Play is also water resistant, meaning IP52 certified, not IP67 certified like the Moto G. The Moto X Play features the Snapdragon 615 CPU. This is a mid-level Qualcomm CPU made up of 8 Cortex A53 cores, paired with an Adreno 405 GPU and 2 GB of RAM. Although I've read a few questionable things with this CPU, I didn't experience any issues. I found the phone to be snappy and never faced any lag whatsoever. The camera opened quickly and took photos fast. 3D games played smoothly. For me, it never got too hot that I'd have to stop playing or anything like that. In my experience, for a Snapdragon 615 phone, it felt fast. This could be due also to Motorola's light-handed approach with their skin. I can't stress enough what a great job Motorola has done with their Android skin. This is how any Android skin should be. It generally looks and feels just like stock Android, and the additions Motorola have made are very useful. Here are my 2 favorites. Number 1, I found you rarely have to use the power button to turn the screen on. When you pick up the phone, the display immediately lights up in ambient mode, and you can see your latest notifications and very easily go directly into that app. This feature is really convenient, way better than having to press the power button all the time. It'll likely save the power button from a bunch of unnecessary wear and tear too. Number 2, you can turn the camera on without looking at it. To me, this is an absolute requirement with a modern smartphone. Once you get used to this, you will hate having to look down at your phone to turn the camera on. This implementation is okay. It's not as good as the S6, which you can at any time double-click the home button to quickly open the camera, but it works fairly well. Motorola has also added their Moto Assistant that you can talk to at any time. It'll wake the phone up and do a bunch of things you can ask it to do. I rarely use it, okay Moto X, as I find it's often too slow. When is the next Blue Jays game? This is because in many cases, you ask Moto, then Moto asks Google.
The Blue Jays are playing the Royals today at 8:07 p.m.
It's noticeably faster to cut out the middleman and just ask Google directly. Okay, Moto X, take a selfie. It's faster when you ask it to do things that it can do directly. It's a good feature. It's too bad Lenovo might be getting rid of Moto Assistant. The IPS LCD screen is outstanding for this level of phone. It's bright, the colors are warm and true, and 1080p resolution is not an issue at all. The whites also look good when compared with more expensive screens like the 1440p S6 AMOLED screen and the super pricey iPhone 6s Plus screen. If the brightness is turned up, then you can see it fine in the sunlight too. Text looks sharp. I have nothing bad to say about this screen. This would have been a high-end phone screen a year ago. The Moto X Play and the Moto X Style are fitted with Sony's new 21 megapixel Exmor RS IMX230 sensor. This is an impressive camera with phase detection autofocus. I found it to focus fast and accurately. Here are some sample photos I took. I like the camera. It's great for ideal conditions, meaning still subjects and good lighting. It isn't the fastest camera, so moving subjects are difficult to shoot. I would say in low light, even using the night mode function, photos look noticeably grainy. Shooting video is quite good as well. It adjusts exposure quickly, and although there's no optical image stabilization, it seems to me there's some decent software stabilization going on. The video button is always visible, so it's easy to start shooting video at any time. And you can pause, as well as take still shots while filming. What I like about Motorola's camera interface is that it's really easy to use. You can slide up and down to zoom in and out. You can choose where you want to focus just by dragging this ring to the focused area. You can adjust exposure just by sliding that ring up and down like that. And then you just touch the screen to take the shot. But to turn the flash on and off requires you have to slide in this menu control. This menu control is really basic, very easy to use. You can turn HDR on and off. You can turn the flash, you can switch between auto on and off. You can decide whether you want that focus and exposure control on or off, or let it do it automatically. There's a night mode. Video, you can choose between HD at 1080p, or you can choose between HD video at 1080p or slow-mo video, but that's only at 540p. You can choose the shape of the photo, whether it's a 4:3 or 16:9. If you choose 16:9, it's a 16.1 megapixel image, and then the standard 4:3 is 21 megapixel. There's a timer, 3 seconds or 10 seconds, panorama mode. You can decide if you want it to store on the SD card, which is very useful. Location on and off, sound on and off, and you can turn that gesture control on or off. So very easy menu to use. Really good camera overall. Battery. This was the spec I was most excited about. Motorola advertises up to 48 hours of standby. I didn't get close to that, so don't get your hopes up. Of course, based on how much you use your phone, where you use it, how you use it, what your brightness is set to, battery life can vary a lot. In my experience, I was generally averaging about 16 hours of standby and 4.5 hours of screen on time. The best standby time I ever saw was 18 hours, and the best screen on time was 6 hours and 42 minutes. This means it would comfortably get me through a full day. I could take the phone off the charger at 7 or 8 a.m. and it would be down to 10% by midnight. But I find that I often still charge it twice a day. For example, if you took your phone off the charger at 8 a.m. and you were planning on going out that night, you would still want to top it up sometime in the late afternoon, early evening before you went out. It's not fun to leave the house in the evening with only 30% battery. In Canada, the Moto X ships with a turbocharger included, which is really good. However, I know this is not the case in many other countries. I would highly recommend also picking up a fast charger if it doesn't come with it. With it, you can get from 40% to 95% in 1 hour. This makes it very easy to top up the phone once your battery gets low. Although this is better than most smartphones, it does feel to me like this is the minimum amount of battery life you would want in a phone. So that is my review of the Moto X Play. In summary, this is an awesome phone. If this is going to be your next phone, you should be very excited. I bet you will really enjoy it. It looks and feels good, it's snappy, has a nice screen, a decent camera, and great battery life. Plus, for its price, it's excellent value. Its size and weight are very manageable, yet you get a nice 5.5-inch screen. I don't think storage is an issue either because you can easily add a micro SD card. The only major feature that it's missing to me is the lack of a fingerprint sensor, especially when most new phones coming out in this price range have it. But if you always have a Bluetooth device paired with it, that can offer good security without need for entering your password or PIN all the time. More than general snappiness or build quality, I think the only significant advantages you get with a more expensive smartphone are a better camera, better 3D gaming, and more storage. It's too bad that Moto Maker isn't available in every country that the Moto X Play sells in, but a bigger deal to me would be storage and the fast charger. If you're able to get the 32 gig version and the fast charger, do that. I do like the idea of Moto Maker though, with all its customization options. Motorola's Android skin is in my view the best OEM skin overlaid on top of stock Android, and Motorola is known to provide fast updates. So I would expect this phone to be updated to Marshmallow very soon. Alright, that's my video. Hope you found it both useful and entertaining. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you have any other questions about this phone, if you like this video, please press the like button. And if you're new to the channel, press subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching.